What up, what up, what up? You already know who it is. It's the one and only Mr. Vega, the Messiah, holding it down for Honest Assholes. Got the merch out tonight, you know what I'm saying? Want to thank everybody that's been rocking with us. We have been making a killing. All of our in-person quality sound, professionally shot. Shout out to my boy, Dank Sinatra, Politic Radio for holding it down for the squad. You already know. Shout out to Mizzle. Shout out to D-Nut. Lala, the rest of the crew. I really want to thank y'all for rocking with us. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm getting better and better. And the wave is just, if you ain't on this motherfucker, you finna get rolled over. I told y'all that from the get go, so you already know what it is. Now, Moment with the Messiahs is all about praising and giving flowers. So y'all already know how big I am on introductions. So I got to do the proper introduction. Let me sip on some yak real quick and do this right. My special guest. First of all, we planned this, I want to say, almost 2 months ago. I was excited then. I'm excited now because of how quick it went by. I really want to welcome tonight's guest, special guest, the one and only is Spontaneous Ecstasy. What's up, girl?
How you doing, baby? How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Did I do good? Did I do good on the intro? Did I do good?
Excellent.
All right, for sure. I just wanted to make
Perfect.
sure. I just wanted to make sure the vibe was good, the energy's good, and I wanted to start off and give you a good introduction because I've been real excited for putting this together. Shout out to Minaj for giving me the plug.
Shout out to my sis, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
We have some new projects coming a little later.
Nice. Yeah. And she was talking to me about it. I had talked to her for a brief second earlier. She's real excited about this. So we're going to knock this out of the park and we're going to have some fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so, definitely.
First and foremost, I got to let you know how much of a fan I am of you.
Oh,
I've been a fan of you since I was 13, maybe 14.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. And the thing is about that, you know, it's just like, after all these years, just to see the place that you're in and the conversations that we had, that makes me even more of a fan because
thank you.
Anybody at the age of 13 can be aroused by some ass and titties, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You know, but it takes a real person to notice the genuineness in somebody, and you've been genuine since we put this together, and I really want to thank you for coming on my show.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I love all my fans. Like I said, my fans is the best, diehard. Years later, decades later, and it's like, yo, I remember when I was 12 or 13. I'm like, oh my God.
Man. And the era, I mean, you got to understand the era that we were in. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, this is like 12, 13. So this is the late 90s, early 2000s. It's like 98 to 2000. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're talking about some epic years as a teenager. Right. But again, thank you for coming out.
I miss those days. I miss those days. That time. That time, I miss those. Yeah.
It was the time before social media where people actually have to get out there and really put in the work and get to know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the segment. So, again, I really want to thank you again for coming out. You know,
anytime.
And just to put this out there, what I'm doing, you know, you're probably like the third former adult entertainer that I've had on my show. But the reason why I do this, one of the main reasons for starters, I'm a fan of my era of adult movies, obviously. But one of the main reasons why I do this because we always see, you know, the white entertainers, the white adult entertainers, they do their little documentaries. They say come on these shows and whatnot. But I feel like, you know, the black people, you know, they were the ones that helped that kept that bridge together, and a lot of people from y'all era don't really get to get heard or talk or see or get their story, or not even just that, just the follow up of what y'all been doing. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
the
saying? And I
follow
think
up.
that's the best part right there, because there's so many sisters from your generation
Right.
that are doing so good. Some are chefs, some are
Hmm.
personal trainers, some are just influencers
Yeah,
outside of this.
photographers, everything,
Yeah,
different
definitely.
avenues. Yup, very true.
Definitely. So
Hmm.
you already know what I'm talking about. Like I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, like, yeah, man, I done seen the physical aspects of these people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's a lovely time. I've seen that, but it's even better to just have them on my platform
Right.
and just give people the what y'all been doing, because you. You are very big. You're very big, and you've had like a really amazing life from what I've been reading. So let's get
Yeah.
up in this thing. So
Yeah.
my first question that I gotta ask you. So as I was looking at your bio, I
Mhm.
noticed that you've been in the entertainment business for over 33 years.
Yeah, very long time.
Yeah,
Since
and
early 90s, late 80s. Lots of people don't know about the Jack the Rapper.
mm,
We're going back to those times, okay? That's how I
yeah,
got signed with Ichiban Records. Yep.
yeah, and like I said, you've been in all forms of entertainment. You know,
Hmm.
music, adult films, obviously, background dancing, album
Or,
covers.
yep. With Cool Keith.
Yeah, when
Hmm.
I seen that, I was like, "Oh snap, that's Cool Keith."
Yep.
I was like,
Hmm.
"Doctor
Ultramagnetic.
Octagon."
Yep, exactly. He had to
So
talk me into doing that because even Pac wanted me to do a lot of photos on album covers, and I didn't want to be that type of chick, So
yeah,
it was like Keith was just different. He reminded me of like Parliament Funkadelic type of person, as you know. So that's the only reason why I said, okay, okay. All right. Well, how much is it? How much I'm getting paid for this photo shoot? Okay, let's go.
for the simple fact that not too many, that's my era of music, so I remember Cool Keith, man.
Hmm.
He had so many aliases. So when I seen that cover, I was
Yes.
like, oh wow,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, she's
Yeah.
definitely. So by you being in the entertainment business all these years from doing
Hmm.
all that,
Yeah.
I just gotta ask you,
Hmm.
how did you come up with the name Spontaneous? Like what made you just come up with that and you just ran with it?
Well, actually, I used to be a drummer. So that's how I got into the entertainment industry as a female drummer. And when we rehearsed for gigs and shows and everything, I would do it the way we planned. But when it's time for live shows, I would do things unexpected. So people used to always say, "Damn, you're spontaneous. You're so spontaneous." So that's how the name started. But I didn't want it spelt like it was in the dictionary. So I created the spelling, and as you see, it's very unique. It looks like
Very,
spontaneous
very,
ecstasy. Yeah,
very.
the ecstasy part. I had a girls group, like Vanity Six type of chicks. I
Oh,
opened up for Chubb Rock, and how we got on to the MC Light, Big Daddy Kane, Dies Effect, Apache, um, Black Sheep, Queen
man.
Latifah, all
Yes.
these. So from that point, the girls and we were working okay, but as time went on, I went solo because they really weren't taking it very serious after we did the Chubb Rock show. It's like, this is work.
Yeah.
We have to go
Mm.
and rehearse. We got to be here. So they realized it was not really their true passion. But just from the Chubb Rock show, I opened up for Chubb Rock. That's how all the other doors open up for me. Yep. So,
And
yeah.
I also read in your bio, it's just part of the second question,
Hmm.
that you said at the age of 12,
Hmm.
you already had this exotic look to where model agencies were already coming
Hmm.
after you, right?
Right. Yes,
So I have to,
exactly.
so I gotta ask you, by that happening,
Hmm.
did you consider yourself being prepared for that type of pressure at a young age, and did you get the type of support that you needed from your family? at that
Oh,
time?
well, actually, at 12 years old, my manager was my grandma. It wasn't like,
Hey.
I miss her dearly. But how that all started during the summer, we went to Madrid, Spain. And that's how my modeling career started, was through going on vacation. So then came back to the US over the holiday, over summer vacation. A modeling agency signed me, and I was making money at a young age like Brooke Shields. But my grandma was managing me. So it wasn't no such thing as me going by myself, or I had a manager who was someone out of the family. It was always the family guiding my career. Yeah. So I did that for a period of time and still had to get, school and, studies and pass my tests at the same time. But I just didn't look like I was 12 years old at that time. So they used to call me the modeling girl, the model girl. Of course, I had some haters when I went to school. So
Yeah.
that was another chapter. All I had to get transferred from one school to another because it was real major haters with some females. Yeah.
That comes with all the smoke that you bring. That's
Yeah.
what I'm noticing. I've been doing this podcast for like 3 years, and you'll be surprised at the smoke and the hate that I've gotten from
Yeah.
people that I thought were there.
Cool. Yeah, supportive. And it's really sad because that's an insecurity within themselves. Because I'm like, why are you hating on me when that door opens for yourself and many people? So why are
Yeah.
you hating? But jealousy is just it's sad because still we're in 2024, and that's still that envy
Oh yeah.
among brothers and sisters. And it's really, it's really sad. But, my mindset is totally different how it was when I was 12 and 13, because I wasn't, why? I was real sensitive about that. Why? I didn't do nothing to, to these chicks. But back then, when your parents found out you're doing the wrong thing, when you get home, it's no time out back then.
Yeah.
So, because we found out some of the girls we knew, and they family knew us, and they made sure they took care of that situation with they jealous daughters. Yeah.
Man. So with that being said, my next question, by the time you got in your 20s,
Mm-hmm.
you were obviously at the height of, in the entertainment
Mm-hmm.
business. So I have to ask you, um, how hard was the work that you had to put in your 20s at that time to get where you needed to be? Because this was no social media, this
Right.
was no internet, you know what I'm saying? So the work at that time of trying to be a young successful entertainer, no matter if it's adult entertaining,
Or
singing,
anything.
playing in the
Right.
band, any of that,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
have to like put in that work. So
Right.
how difficult was that for you, especially at being in your 20s or whatnot?
It wasn't difficult because it was a true passion. I feel in a lot of cases right now with the technology, a lot of younger generation per se, some of them really don't have that true passion. It's too easy for them. They think like, oh, I create this on social media. I'm just like, oh, I'm the it person. And I'm just like, excuse me, if you're not going overseas to get that overseas money, you're local.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Seriously.
the thing. I'm trying to be worldwide. I'm not
Right.
trying to be local.
Because overseas, they appreciate us more. You get paid a lot more money overseas than you do here in the USA when it comes to an entertainer. And
Facts.
if
I've
they
heard.
love you, they love you.
Yeah, and that's why so many rappers do tours overseas. People wonder why Michael Jackson used to spend the majority of his time
Hmm.
on
Like
his shows overseas.
Taylor Swift is overseas right now. Wu Tang
So,
would be overseas a lot, all the time. Wu Tang, overseas a lot.
that's a
Spontaneous,
fact.
I would go overseas a lot because I'm looking like, okay, I come back with all this money. But of course, when you come back with the money, you're not coming back with all that money. You better put it in a bank account, because you can't come back to the USA with like all this money in a suitcase or something. You can't do that. You have to, it's only $10,000. So everything you have to put in your bank account way before you leave the country and head back home. But I would always my passports were always saying Japan, 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 Japan. I've even been to Germany, Iceland,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Iceland?
Damn.
Seriously? What am I going to Iceland for? You got lots of. It was crazy. I'm looking like
Oh,
they. It was like Michael Jackson over there for me.
I can only imagine.
The love is just unreal. It's just like wow,
And
wow.
the impact that you left, in the industry, you know what I'm saying? That was
Yes.
while you were in the industry,
Mhm.
you set the bar high for a lot of adult stars after your era was over. Like you
Mhm.
really set the bar high because you have like this exotic look and
Yeah.
appearance, but when you pay attention to a lot of your like scenes or whatnot, you talk and how you come off, you have personality, you have
Mhm.
a sense of humor. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like I'm gonna show you a little bit of a little bit of my personality before I or bust it up or whatever you see. So
Exactly.
and like I said, as I'm older, that's what I see. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If I go back and look at that, that's the stuff that I would get now, especially since I'm in talking to you. So
Yes.
I have to ask this question. I really do. Because I have a deeper question that me and you talked about that I'm definitely
Mhm.
gonna ask you. But before we get to that one, I really
Mhm.
have to ask this one.
No
Okay.
problem.
So when you were in the industry, you set a record for doing something.
I know where you're going. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel bad because as much of a fan as I was growing up, I did not know that.
Oh no, really?
I
Wow.
did like seriously, I did not know that. So that's why when I seen that, like along with, I'm like, wait a minute, really? And then I went
Mhm.
back and looked at it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then no wonder I didn't know because for starters, I was like 12, 13, so I could
Yeah.
only get what was
Exactly. You
available.
you aren't supposed to be getting all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but with that being said, you set a record for doing a gangbang
Mhm.
551.
51. Yes, man.
Yeah,
And
and
6 hours.
yeah, yeah, because I seen it and I seen the year it was 98. And I was like, oh shit,
Mhm.
yeah, 98 was a popping
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So I just, oh my goodness, I just got. Well, for starters, it's a two-part question, but for starters, were you sore as fuck when that shit was over?
Actually, I wasn't. I was upset because 1,000 men showed up, but they couldn't
Oh,
get because it was called the Spawn 1,000. In my mind, I supposed to
oh,
have been doing 1,000 men. I supposed to have been doing 1,000 men. Seriously, they were out in the outside. I mean, they couldn't get in because see, if you didn't have your AIDS test, your DNA test, you can't just show up and think like, "Oh, you're gonna be part of this movie." It wasn't like that whatsoever. You have to have your identification. You have to go get tested. You have two types of tests you have to have with you. And all that was taking place outside, far as like getting their identification, their testing, making sure it's legit. They called the company to find out. They told them where to go to get their tests. Is where we got our tests when we do movies.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's why it limited to 551. Now they had someone who was the guy who would wipe everything off me. So they had that guy. They had some guys even got jobs
yeah.
from doing the movie with me. Ron Jeremy, he hosts the movie.
I seen that shit.
Yeah.
I seen his
Hmm.
little Danny DeVito looking ass.
Yeah, yeah. So and I had to because Ron Jeremy was the it man back in the 70s and 80s. So it's crazy on where he is now. That's totally shocking to me. And I'm just like, but that's another story in itself. But it's just that I went on tour like 3 weeks after that. Start doing press all over, doing tours all over. So
Man.
I think it was the adrenaline in my mind where I'm like, I'm all hyped because this is so different. But that was my last movie. I didn't want to say, yes, I
Oh,
retired just doing a movie. I wanted something that people's going to always remember. Like years later, they're going to remember this one. That's how I got on the Howard Stern show, because he wanted me on desperately. He called my publicist. I got there, but it was late, and he asked me, could we'll get a hotel for you? Because I'm not a morning person. And it's like, oh, dude, I'll talk about what. So he got the hotel and everything for me, and we ended up going back the next day. And I had my bodyguards with me because with him, I wasn't sure how he was going to ask me certain questions, certain things like that, because this was Howard Stern. So he was very
yeah,
respectful. He was very nice. Everything was fine. But I think because I had my guys with me, so maybe that he behaved himself. I don't know, but he was
that's
cool. He
cool.
was always supportive. Yeah. So, yep, I remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Oh, yeah. I was just, I had to ask that real quick. Like,
Yeah,
there was
because that
so
movie sold the first week 3 million. It sold.
Ooh,
Yeah, that 1 week, first week
man,
release, 3 mil. Yeah.
that's just man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I ain't nothing too much
Yeah.
I can say about that. So yeah, again. I gotta still doing you, and oh man. So this next question, because I think it's gonna be. I think you all love this one. So you've been around a lot of celebrities. Again, I've seen you've been around Ed Lover, Dr. Dre, Cool Keith, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, Big Daddy
Mm-hmm.
Kane, Busy Bone, Naughty by Nature,
Yeah.
Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
and you were managed by the one and only
Yeah.
Mr. Tupac Shakur.
Cool. Yeah.
So I have to ask you because it's going to lead into what you got going on. Because
Mm-hmm.
when we talked about that, so I
Yeah.
have to ask you, what was that experience like working with that man?
Amazing. It's even to this day, I like my life changed when when he's not here no more. It just completely changed. Um, with him, going back to the Jack the Rapper days, after I did the tour with the Flavor Unit, I had to go to Atlanta, Georgia. I had a manager, road manager. We in a restaurant because I had to perform at the Jack the Rapper. And then I was getting signed with Ichiban Records, which MC Breed was on at the time as well. And Pac did a song, I Gotta Get Mine, with MC Breed, same record company. Um, Me, my road manager, and my manager, we were in the restaurant eating. Hear somebody knocking on the window, and it was Pac and Big Stretch, who was his friend at the time. He came in the restaurant, he wanted to meet me. That's how it all began. And it
Oh,
was only him and Stretch, him and his best friend during that time. It wasn't no bodyguards, none of that, because his career was just starting as well, right after the Juice movie.
okay,
So that's how we met.
that's
And from
dope.
that point, he wanted to go with me and my road manager and manager to Ichiban, but my manager was like, "No, he's not going. No, he's not going." And Pac, I remember to this day, he was persistent of going. He wanted to go with me to the label. And I remember as we drove off, because my manager would not let him go with us. And I remember Pac standing in the middle of the street, and he said, "I'm going to see you again. I'm going to see you again." And he was persistent about meeting me again. And from that point on, he was in my life from that point on. And I didn't ask him to manage me. He said, "I'm going to manage you." I wasn't going to say no.
Hell no.
I'm like, okay. Because he had a vision of what he wanted to do with Thug Life.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
yeah.
And you said the name of his management company was Thug's Mansion.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
During that time. Yeah. So I was signed under his management company as well. Yeah.
And I'm assuming like by you being around him, you've been to parties and all that stuff, all that
Yeah.
good shit, right? Because
Yeah.
people don't understand. Like, yes, bro's been gone for almost 2 decades plus, but y'all don't understand the impact that he's left
Exactly.
in our culture. And just
Extremely.
the fact that I'm talking to somebody who's actually been around him,
Yeah.
because I think Mana, she said she's been around him too.
Yeah.
So, but just to see that you were managed
I was
and you
managed.
actually
I
he said he saw something in you, and I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I lived.
"What?"
Yeah, I lived with him, and I know what he like and the foods he likes. So with us, it didn't really just have to do with music. It didn't have because he was upset as far as me going into the porn industry. Because see,
Oh,
he was with me in my life before the porn part. See, the music was first for me, and then I came into the industry of porn later. So that's how that came about. But I said to him, I want to do this because guess what? There's never ever been a female rap artist or any artist that would go and do porn. You know me, I like to do shit different. so, so he was like,
damn.
"All right, if you want to do this, we're gonna make sure whoever assigned you is going to be a good company and ain't gonna be no crazy stuff." So, because he was very overprotective on everything that I do, So that's the thing I miss too, because people were asking me about the Diddy situation. So I truly understand that now, because he was like, "You're not going to associate yourself with him."
Mm,
Now I understand why.
mm,
All the stuff that came out, all the
mm.
stuff that came out,
She
and probably more
said,
stuff.
Pac
Mhm.
said, you are not finna associate with him.
Right.
Oh, I gotta drink some yak on that one. Mm.
Yeah.
Man, that's first of all, that's a dope experience just to be
Yeah.
around Pac, man,
Yeah.
because we got two different versions of Pac. We got the digital, well, actually, three
Yeah.
maybe if you
Yeah.
count the digital underground days. But
He
I
was
was
a
just
Gemini.
yeah, so
So
I would just mainly just count like his from Tupacalypse all the way to Me Against the World.
mhm.
That was a different Pac from the All Eyes on Me Pac. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But the thing that was equal about those Pac, bro, still made beautiful music. He still made dope music.
Always.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like I be telling people, like, man, bro got three popular songs that cater to the women or cater to just going through something in general. We got I Ain't
Exactly.
Mad at You,
Hmm.
Dear Mama, Brenda's Got a Baby,
Hmm.
Keep Your Head Up.
Yeah, exactly. And to this day, I mean, they have classes in college of a Tupac, his poetry, his lyric forms, in different universities here in the USA, not just one university, lots of universities that you have to pass those courses. So
That's crazy.
he never thought ever in his wildest we never like one day there's going to be some universities that's going to be like you have to have this class that's pertaining to him. Never thought that whatsoever. Back in those times, we were, of course, young. We're making this money, but we made immature moves at the time.
Oh,
And people do ask me, they said, "Well, Spawn, if Biggie and Pac was alive today, would they be talking now?" Hell yeah, they'll be talking. They'll be talking.
mm,
They would have pandered because it didn't have nothing to do with nobody but them two. They would have gone in the room, them two only, and handle it them two only. And as you get older, you mature. So both of them would have been like, "Fuck that. We're gonna do some shit together.
mm.
We're gonna, that would have definitely have happened.
Powerful,
You know,
powerful.
And with Pac, it wasn't just music with him. So that's the thing. He comes from the Black Panthers.
Yeah,
He was very educated. At
yeah.
17, he's speaking at these different events that had to do with the Panthers and the people who want a change in their community. He was about changing different things in the community. Of course, you get associated with the wrong type of people, situations, all these different things. And that's the thing. So Pac, it wasn't just about music. So that's why his longevity to this day is still going on strong.
Facts. So we're getting ready to wrap it up. You know what
I
I'm saying?
know
This has
time
been,
goes fast. I
I
know.
know, I know, I know, but we gave him some dope ish. I gave him some
Yes.
dope ish. So we got a few seconds. What do you got coming out? You got
Oh wow.
15 seconds.
Actually, I'll be Dr. Spontaneous in the next couple of years. I'll have my doctorate degree. I'll be the first former porn star to ever in the industry have a doctorate degree, PhD, from a real university.
There we go.
Also, I have a publishing company that's going well and a radio show that's going well. So everybody can see that up on my Instagram and all that. Um, New merchandise coming out 2025. People asking me, Spawn, will you be going on tour sometime soon? We want to see you in person. Yes, a little later you'll get that announcement as well. And of course, me and my sis Menage a Trois will be doing some new projects together. It'll be announced a little later on what we're doing.
Hey,
Hmm.
there you have it. Man, I want to thank you for coming out. This has been another edition, a moment with the Messiah, with the one and only Miss
Yes.
Spontaneous
Thank
Ecstasy.
you, sweetie. And let's do a part two a little later.
Yes, indeedy.
Yes,
Live
yes.
streaming this
Thank you.
Thursday, 7 p.m. It's the
Yes,
Messiah, Spontaneous Ecstasy. It's a wrap.
yes, yes, yes.